welcome back. It's your ultimate business show, Business This Week on Independent Television. We're broadcasting live from Benin City, South Nigeria with Lawrence Osifo. Like I told you earlier, we'll be x-raying this current administration of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu and the SME. What does the government have in store for the SME? My guests are seated close to me, immediate. It's Benedict Ochago, who is a business expert. Mr. Benedict, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I'm seated at my extreme end is Mr. Ediai Williams, who is also a public affairs analyst and also a business expert. Mr. Ediai, welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right. So today I want to look at the business environment, SME, and this new administration of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. You know, the past administration, we're not going to really say they didn't do well. At least they tried their best. But we're going to look at what this administration should do for the immediate SME owners in a thriving world of business. Because business today, we have competitions everywhere. What really do the administration have in store for this new administration have in store for business owners? Because a lot of business are crumbling today, maybe due to lack of government support and all of that. Now, first, we're going to look at the challenges of SMEs in today's Nigeria. Mr. Benedict, what do you think is the challenge of today's SME in Nigeria?
They are numerous.
Okay, so give us an in-depth.
When you talk about challenges in today's SME in Nigeria, one of the biggest challenge is funding.
Okay.
That's one of the biggest challenge, and lack of enabling environment, because the society we find ourselves have not come to realization that the SME, the small medium enterprises, are the most powerful drivers of economy.
Okay.
And then what our government does is that they look for the big established companies, partner with them, give them tax waivers, give the CBN help them with, that is before maybe the current administration decided to now unify exchange rates. So what they do prior to this time is get these people together and give them a special exchange rate from the CBN and all of that. Talk about the likes of Dangote, $2 and all of that, and it ends there. And the truth is that no economy thrives, no economy survives without paying attention to SME. If you want to know how China got to where they are today, look at where they are coming from, especially from 1973 to this time, when they made up their mind, especially in the early 70s, that we want a country that works. Our population is becoming so much, and they had a proper projection that in the next 30 years, in the next 40 years, if we don't do anything about our country, then it will be a very disastrous one. What did China do? They had to come back home. When I say come back home, in terms of economic policies, in terms of encouraging business people, what they did was to empower people. As long as you're a Chinese, you must be technically oriented. You must have one technical, and that actually was imputed in the educational system. And once you have it, and once you are into one business or the other, they will support you. Look at where China is today, just because of that singular decision to empower the SMEs. Look at where China, they are the second economic power today. And they are driving and working hard to become #1, just because they value the about 70–80% of the economic drivers, which is the SMEs. No country all over Europe and America or anywhere in the world, about 70–80% of the people.
Sorry, we're going to cut you here. Let's go on a short break. When we come back from the break, we'll continue with this conversation. right, welcome back from that short break. Mr. Benedict, you were saying something before we went on the break.
Yes.
So you were talking about the ability of the government to assist SMEs. You were using China as a case study. So
now, let's not just China, Japan, South Korea, especially the African and Middle East nations that are actually doing well economically today. The major drivers are the SMEs, and they concentrated on that, and it is working for them.
All right.
Everywhere in the world. If you ignore those in the small and medium scale enterprises, then you will fail woefully economically. That's what Nigeria, that's why Nigeria is where they are today. That's where we are. Because what we do is that we have bogus policies, we have things written on papers, but there is no strong or real intention to focus on it. The day Nigerians want to prosper economically, then that day they will start to focus on the SMEs. There is nothing you can do about it. And now look at how population, we are the most populated black nation in the world. That is a numerical advantage. Absolutely. That is the advantage China is having. That is the advantage India is having. And they are utilizing this advantage. For example, we are over 200 million people. And then I don't have any statistical base right now. But in a nutshell, you can say that we can have almost about 100 million SMEs, for example. If you empower them and encourage them, and also have to tax them in the along the line. Look at, let's assume 100 million SMEs brings a tax of 100,000, for example, times 100 million. That is it. See, to make Nigeria economically viable is not a rocket science. It's just having the will and doing the right thing, getting to the grassroots. Then the country will be on a path of prosperity.
Thank you very much. Mr. Williams, you've been smiling, you've been shaking your head. You have a lot to say. Can we hear your own point on this?
Yes, you know, Benedict has just give you a broad introduction to it. And SMEs, you know, 2022 research was done, and they have 48% impact in the economy, 96% business, 88% employment. So you see the large extent they contribute to the economy of the country. Of
course they are.
And they are scattered abroad, all over in the streets.
Everywhere. You see them on the streets and everywhere.
You see them everywhere. So this, and then the issue of creation of job, we have youth coming out of graduating from school.
No job anywhere, no white collar job.
Yes, the easiest way to just get employed is these people, SMEs who are spread all over the country. Well, just like he has explained, the easiest thing to do is to empower them. The issue of electricity, road network, grants given to them to bring them up to speed. We are able to also challenge with the established business investors that we have in the country. Just like you make that clear analysis of giving them preferential rates in terms of foreign exchange rate and what have you. So these people are the ones that are directly close to the citizens, to the people. And whatsoever that is happening to the Nigerian economy, issues like whatsoever, they are the direct, they get direct impact, direct effects, boils down to them. And then since they are close to the people, then the people suffer because they are the last agent to the
they are closest to the people.
So whatsoever is affecting the economy
affects the common man on the street.
And it affects them 100% because there is no soft landing for them. Tax, multiple taxation and all that. You can say an advanced woman trading in the street, just in one day she is receiving close to like 5 or 6 tickets from different,
units, and some from the local government, some from the state government.
You see that. So these are issues that make that, and even research was also conducted that annually 1.9 million SMEs dies because of all these issues that we have around. So if you want to make sure that the Nigeria economy boosts drastically, you have to empower these people and then reduce this issue of multiple taxation.
Okay, thank you very much on that. Now, what strategies do you actually think, Mr. Benedict, that SME owners should adopt to do things differently? Because sometimes you see on a street, you see like 10 persons doing the same business on one street, exact same business. What do you think they can do differently to be unique on their part in terms of their business drive? Mr. Benedict.
Now, you talked about on a street 10 people doing exactly the same business. Yeah. Then, but perhaps you didn't take into account the fact that on that same street, you have about 100,000 people that are ready to buy that thing. So there's an even distribution of it. Okay. It's not a matter of having the same business on one street. Yeah. It's a matter of one of the reasons why there are no a kind of balance in our economy is that Nigeria, because of corruption, tends to monopolize our economic system. Yeah. There is no competition. You see Dangote, the richest man in Africa. Because there's no way Dangote will not be the richest man in Africa, considering the kind of assistance he gets from the government.
Absolutely.
So now you begin to wonder and ask questions, can Dangote really thrive? Can he really be the richest man if Nigeria has been otherwise been a competitive society? Is he that smart enough? Does he have the technical know-how and all of that? That is a question for another day. So, but what we are trying to say is that not about what can be done differently. Of course, there's a whole lot that can be done differently, but the system must ensure that these people are protected. The reason why the system must ensure that the SMEs are protected is that in the echelon, they are the lowest earned. They don't have the finance to muscle their way through. Some of them are not even educated. Some of them do not have even the opportunity some of us have, that we can be able to kind of make projections and say, okay, with how government is going, maybe with the body language of government, maybe in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year, the things may be different. They don't have that knowledge or that intellectual know-how. And so what the government must do is that at all costs, you must protect these people. Just this morning, I received a message from one of my business partners, and he sent me a message. He is discouraged already. And he told me that the challenges he's having has actually overrun him. And then the next thing is, maybe the next thing is, let me quit this business. But I just told him, I made him understand that that is not the reality. Because I'm somebody who, by the grace of God, very, very positive. I just believe that somehow things will work, and that works for me. Okay. I just believe, I don't give up. And that is what I tend to bring in. And then I just try to talk to him. Maybe later I will still call him, because I have seen a lot of people has gone down the drain because of lack of protection, because of, like William was trying to say, maybe multiple taxation. That is a major problem. True. Now, I am somebody who believes so much in taxation. I believe that people should pay taxes, government should collect taxes. But also, there is a system by which these taxes will be collected. Now, even in doing that, you discover that our governments, they are very lazy. So that is why they don't have money. Why do you think the government is lazy? If you know how much comes into this country, in terms of all of those taxes or whatever, but these taxes go to the hands of individuals because there is no system that ensures that this money goes directly to the government purse. The government will be crying, there's no money, there is no this, there is no this. But also, when you go to the papers and see how much was supposed to be accrued to the government, you'll be wondering, because there is no proper system that checkmates and channel this money direct to the government purses. That is why they keep crying, because of corruption. So what we are trying to say is that in as much as the people have to pay tax, if it's properly managed. But before you are talking about taxing the people, you must also try to provide an enabling environment, and the taxing the people should start from the top. Try to tax those people at the top more, and be able to give tax holiday to these people at the lowest echelon. Give them tax holiday so that they will be able to stand their ground. For example, when you are talking about multiple taxation, when you go to the market to buy bread, you pay tax, indirect tax on the trade report. Then you will still go to the street to shade, you will still pay tax again. Then you go to the bank to get a loan, you pay, because the banks have been charged with so much tax, they add the price, the additional on the interest you are going to pay there. You have indirectly paid tax there. Then you still come with that money and go to the street, they will be giving you different tickets, they give you, immediately you open shop on the street or along the express, the local government, which is almost non-existent, will come. we have no, there's no impact.
You can't say they are not existing.
No. There's no impact we are receiving from the local government. You go to the market where they collect the ticket, there's mud everywhere. They cannot even tie the surrounding environment and all of that. There's no security provided, but the people are being taxed. But the reason why they do all of that is because they don't understand the significance of the SMEs. Okay. They are the most powerful. We are going to China to borrow today because they empower their SMEs.
Absolutely.
And we will keep borrowing from them if we don't do anything about it. What we need to do is just to have a project, a projection of about 20, 30, 40 years that we have to build these people. Okay. It's not just about a political window. Another government come and begin to do gaslighting and do jamborees, which does not bring economic prosperity. So you must strengthen these people, not about what they can do. Give them power, give them soft loans, give them grants and all of that, and educate them as well.
All right, thank you. Let me pause you there. Mr. Williams, you said a whole lot, but let me hear from Mr. Williams. What do you think are the strategies business owners should put into their business to do things differently?
You know,
in a challenging environment that we'll find ourselves in.
Yes, why I would deviate a little bit that.
Okay.
I see those things all over in the streets.
Yeah, they are there.
I'm a very observant person. When I'm driving around, you see in the streets, you see like 10 people selling the same product.
Exact same thing. That was what I asked.
And then that boils down to the internal issue. You know, in this SME, there's internal and external, problems. So this is an internal issue now that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Now you will have that ability to think, what else can I do differently that can attract the government attention? Because if the government are really serious, definitely in each of these streets, that is the duty of local government.
Yes, conduct it's the duty of the local government.
Conduct research. It's look for how you are going to support these people with soft loans and all that. So they can easily pick you at because they think that in these streets, if they empower you with this your service, you can do better. Then when you are doing the same thing, remember that it comes about customer relation.
Yes.
Somebody can be selling two things in the street, the same thing, and then your relation to the customer might be different from the other person.
That's true.
And then I may choose to go and patronize the person that have that customer relation. Yeah, you understand? So these are the issues that they also have to do away with. Try to think about what outside the box. Yes, what is affecting this particular street that I find myself. And then that aside, then the major issue why you now say that, okay, these people, it doesn't matter about what they say in the street because the purchasing power of the naira is another thing. Yeah. You understand? People may not go and meet another person, okay, because this person wants to sell for me on credit. Okay. I should go buy from this person. Rather than buying from the other person, you have to pay cash. Yes, you have to pay cash. So those are issues that if government empower these people more, they will have that money to do and to also exchange. Take for example, I was talking to Benedict the other day that school fees increment. Yeah. And we saw it recently from one of our top institutions. Yes, in school fees increment. Yeah. And then I was not telling that we pay tax, but we don't see what we use. What they use the tax to do for the people. For the people. And then we're now talking about the issue of bad governance and all that. And then people that are supposed to tax the more, that will generate money that used to also support these SMEs, that will also drive the economy to a large extent. You give those people tax holiday. 4 years ago, the previous administration that passed gave a particular businessman 11 years tax-free. Tax-free, yeah, true. Imagine what that will cost, and the effect will be brought back to the small business owners. Somebody who is the sole importer, sole manufacturer of the major things that are being consumed in the country. You give the person 11 years tax-free, and these SMEs are also going to patronize him, and he will not also consider them. Okay. So I think instead of you to be giving those people tax holiday, give these SMEs the tax holiday. If you want to tax them, then tax them at a very low cost. Yeah. So they don't have to go to extinction, and then they will go into extinction, and then the economy will be suffering, and then we should not bow down to unemployment. That's true. So that's it. Okay. Now, quickly, the rains are here, and we all know the advice the rain will always have on businesses. What's your advice to SME owners? Because most of these SME owners, they're on the street. They don't really have, in quote, big companies where they do their thing. Majority of them are on the street.
The rains are already here, and some of our cities in Nigeria are flooded. Once it rains, you won't get anywhere to pass. You try to manipulate your way back home and all of that. What would be your advice to SME owners in this raining season, Mr. Benedict?
Well, not all business. There are businesses that are not season sensitive. Okay. In as much as you are talking about the rain, there are businesses that you make more money during the rain.
That's true. Yeah, there are businesses like that.
And what have you. Yeah. So it's not about the season. Of course, there are also the businesses like my own line of business that is affected by the rainy season. Okay. And all of that. But we have over the years also understand that that is the nature of it. And you will try to adjust. Of course, Nigerians are very smart people. Absolutely. That is why it pains me so much when I see that our government is not doing anything to help. Because we have smart people. We have people who actually do a whole lot, invest a whole lot of intellectual capability to just survive. They provide almost everything.
No matter the situation, Nigerians are willing to adjust.
Definitely. So they provide almost everything for themselves, and they are still ready to push. Absolutely. So in terms of whether Nigerians will push because of the seasons, it's not a problem at all. Okay. The fundamental problem is a problem of support because of the nature, because of the cadre where they are. When we are talking about, it's not just about those selling things. There are also the tech people.
Yeah, the tech are there.
Absolutely. The tech people, they are there. Yeah. Those people that render service, the barber shop, the mechanics, true, they are all there. Yeah. A lot of them some of them just fold up because there is no power supply. Yeah. And then at the end of everything, the person who was employed yesterday becomes unemployed today. So like you were trying to say, it's not like the government will provide a job. The government, there's no place in the world where the government provides. No. Not just, you can't, it's not even possible to provide for 25% of your people. Yeah. It's not possible. People that travel out of the country abroad, most of them work for private individuals. That is how it works. They work for private individuals. So you just go out there, you empower the people, then they employ your citizens, and that is what employment is about. So what we're trying to say is that it's not just about the rainy season or not the rainy season. Every businessman that is into the business actually know that a certain season I need to prepare for this season. This season, sometimes it doesn't really, there's no much, I have to just adjust. When it begins to happen, I will also enjoy. So it's just basically, it's not really basically about funding. Now, remember that the electricity, even when they have the electricity, if you manage to have, the tariff has increased by 40%.
It will go high by 40% on the 1st of July.
All right. So they said. Now, the price of AGO, which is popularly known as diesel, there will be a VAT of 7.5% by July 1st. Yeah. The repercussion of that is that the price of goods and services will increase. So these people actually go out there, and then when it increases, they will buy high price, and then even in their business there is no support, and then even as long as there is no support, you are still coming to tax them. Taxes everywhere because we have lazy system that is called government. So what then at the end, it's not just the problem is not about season. The problem is about funding. The problem is about enabling environment. The problem is about government policies. Before you are bringing the VAT, before you are bringing the policies, did you take into cognizance what will be the effect of it on those people that are involved in the SMEs? Those people are not educated. Remember that even in terms of empowering, not just giving them money, because if you don't educate somebody properly on business and you give him money, he will use the money to go and buy car and be driving. Absolutely. He can use it to go and buy land.
Or go and even play bets.
You understand? So a government that is serious will constantly the Bank of Industry and the rest of other government agencies, agriculture, we should constantly ensure that there is training and retraining of the SMEs, so that when you give them the money, they will know what to do with it. Because one of the things that training does is that sometimes, as a business analyst, sometimes when you engage some people, you discover that their mind just open to a whole lot they can do. When you begin to get the feedback from them, wow, it's like you just opened up their mind. Yeah. That is what training does. When you train the people, it opens, the human mind has a way it works. When knowledge comes in, there's an illumination, and his mind is open to so much he can do to prosper in terms of his business or her business. So those are the part of the things where when we talk about empowerment, there's a mental empowerment and there is financial empowerment and also infrastructural empowerment. It's all encompassing.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Williams.
The aspect of rainy season that you're talking about, there's really nothing this SME can do other than fixing their self-kiosks that they can run into.
Where they can run their business.
But the major issue boils down to the government. Most of them do import their goods from neighboring states.
Absolutely.
And we have bad roads. You can see in Benin-Awuchi Expressway, a trailer load of tubers of yam and all that can spend close to like 3 to 4 days.
And before you know, the yam start getting rotty. Before you get into the city.
And imagine somebody just invested huge amount of money. Probably the person is just starting. He has no that complete idea. You know, most of Nigerians, they will just look at the business is lucrative. They don't have that concrete idea.
They don't have the idea about
money.
it.
They don't know the issues that surrounding the kind of business. They just invest their money. But if the government could fix the road, this issue of flooding, because you see, in these Oluku houses, there are some people, when it's raining, they start parking. And it's not supposed to get to the time of
closing time.
Because it's going to be flooding. And then they start. So these are the things that government should do that also empower SMEs to strive. Take, for example, now they are overburdening this other road, Akure Road, because the Awuchi Road.
The Awuchi Road is bad.
Before you know, this other will start having issues.
Start decaying
and all that. So they should look at these issues, infrastructure, that also supports the SME, because now is rainy season, they are going to suffer more in this aspect.
Quickly before we go, your last advice, your advice to this current administration, that is the TINUBU'S administration on SMEs. What should they do to empower SMEs? Quickly, Mr. Ochago.
When you're talking about what they should do, I believe that the government knows what to do.
You think they do?
Yeah, they know. The government, the people in the government, they are quite smart people. Just that they channel their smartness into into a very corrupt tendency. They know what to do. There are a whole lot of economic experts around there. They are not dull people. Some of them have first class, some of them, but the similar economic knowledge has been corrupted by corruption tendency and all of that. And what you just need to do, we have been saying all of these things and all of these things. Prioritize these SMEs. They are the economic drivers. They are the people that made China what they are today, that you are running to them here and there every now and then for loans. They are the people that made the U.S. what they are, that you are running there looking for dollar favor and all of that. They are the people. So what you need to do, prioritize these people, create an enabling environment, make sure they have light, make sure they have good road, like William was trying to say that. I have first-hand experience on all of that. For example, the Awuchi Road, my goods sometimes come from the northern part of the country. Sometimes you will have to, even right now I'm still waiting because they are in the traffic there. You can't say how many days they will spend there. And sometimes maybe before they get here, like he was trying to say, some things will begin to happen because of the weather, this rainy season right now, and all of that. So those are the things. Create good road. So let there be accessibility. This Nigerians, especially those in SME, they don't really want so much from the government. The spirit of a Nigerian man, like William was trying to say that Nigeria, they just jump into business. That is the spirit of the Nigerian.
Everybody wants to survive.
Everybody wants to survive. They don't even look at the risk involved. They are ready to jump in and take the risk.
Daily.
That is when you have people with such spirit, you are blessed.
Absolutely.
You are blessed. The things, some of the things we survive in this country, if you try it in other part of the world, you will have a very chaos environment.
All right.
You understand? But
fine. Here we are. Mr. Williams, before we round up the program, what's your advice to this current administration?
Current administration, they should make sure and prioritize it well, just like Benedict said. Give them soft loans. You go for this World Bank in the name of these SMEs.
All right.
Remember, they've done that a lot of times in this country in the name of the SMEs. And then when the loans come, when the grant comes, they will not get down to the people
who they are meant for.
Then they will just hijack it up there. I don't want to see that repeat itself in this administration. And then why they should also support this tech business too. since they cannot fix the immediate issue about infrastructure, the road that we're talking about, and other market structures, flooding and all that, also empower them so that, granted, this training section, organized program for them, let them understand the nitty-gritty about it, and also expose them to the world. They can also strive there in the tech world. Therefore, you know, Nigeria youth and on the unemployed in the streets can be gainful employed.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Benedict and Mr. Williams. It was nice having you on the program this afternoon to discuss and give advice to this current administration on what to do to make SMEs thrive. It was a pleasure having you in the studio this afternoon. And that's the size of our package today on the program Business This Week. We'll be back again next week with another exciting episode. I am Lawrence Osifo saying do have a beautiful afternoon ahead of you. Bye for now.